but also what investors know. See, accountants are generally on this side here, and investors are on this side. So it was the first game that actually combines two professions, accountancy and investing. And that's what makes the game so unique. It's not an easy game, but it's a very powerful game because it gives people the financial education to learn how to have money work hard for them so they don't have to work hard for money. As I'll say it again, our school system teaches us to work hard for money, but the rich, what they teach their kids is how to have money and people work hard for them.
Le quiero preguntar a Robert por qué es importante o cuál es la ventaja de aprender con un juego de mesa en contra de solamente leer el libro. What would be the advantage of playing a game and learning as opposed to just reading the book?
Well, I love this game because as a kid I didn't do well in school. I found school really boring, and I always liked games. And in fact, I learned to be an investor with my rich dad, playing the game of Monopoly. And when I was just 9 years old, my rich dad would play Monopoly with me over and over and over again. And he said to me, the formula for great wealth is found in the game of Monopoly. And most of us know the formula is 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So when I was 9 years old, I saw the future. I went, oh my goodness, that's all I have to do? And my rich dad said, yeah, that's all you have to do. So I was 9 years old. And then he took me out and he actually showed me his 4 greenhouses, what represented it. And then when I was 19, just 10 years later, I came back. I went to school in New York, and I came back from school, and my rich dad had bought the big red hotel right in the middle of Waikiki Beach. And I realized that my rich dad was playing the game of Monopoly in real life. And today, that's what I do, is I build companies as an entrepreneur, and I play Monopoly here, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. The problem with Monopoly, it doesn't go into this here. This is called a financial statement, which is the key to financial literacy. So the reason games are so powerful is we just found this piece of information. It came out in 1969, and it's called the Cone of Learning. And what the Cone of Learning says is the worst way to learn is via reading. Again, this is 1969. This is not my chart. And the second worst way to learn is via lecture. And our schools, the reason I found schools so boring was I'm not a very good reader, and I don't like listening for too long. So that's the worst way. And so a lot of times when they say a student is smart, they're probably good readers, and they like sitting there and listening, which is not my way. I like to do things. Now, the same gentleman, Dale, in 1969, found that the best way to learn is doing the real thing. So for me, I learn a lot by going out and actually investing and building companies. But they said the second most important thing, according to this gentleman, Dale, in 1969, who's also a teacher, he said the second best way to learn is via a game, a simulation. So that's why we created the cash flow game. It's a lot harder than Monopoly, a lot more complex, but it's very close to the real thing. So if I could review it again here, is reading and lecture is the worst way to learn, but that's what we do in our schools, and that's why so many kids like me just jump out the window. I'm so bored, I didn't want to be there. But playing a game actually got me all engaged. I really wanted to learn. And then doing the real thing, one of the reasons so many people who do well in school do not do well in the real world, on the street here, is because our schools teach you not to make mistakes. So how can you learn anything if you don't make mistakes? You can't learn to ride a bicycle if you don't fall off one time. You can't play soccer if you don't make some mistakes some of the time. So the reason a lot of times people who do really well in school, because they can read and listen to lectures, don't do well in the real world, is because they're afraid of making mistakes. So the power of a game is a game teaches people to play the game just before they do the real thing. So I recommend playing that game at least 4 to 10 times, and then teaching other people, because the more you teach other people, the more you learn. And that game then helps spread, so one family can get together and one family can teach 4 people, and those 4 people can teach another 10 people, and that's how education spreads. So you don't have to go to school to learn to be rich. Just play cash flow and, read this book and the cash flow quadrant, and you'll understand a lot about how to have money work hard for you, so you don't have to work for the rich or work for money the rest of your life.
Ahora, uno de los principales errores que cometemos es pensar que para hacer dinero necesitamos dinero y que tenemos que ser una estrella de televisión o un abogado o un doctor con mucho éxito y estar ganando mucho dinero para hacer más dinero. Y cash flow nos enseña todo lo contrario. Entonces, quiero preguntar a Robert al respecto. Is it true that the cash flow game teaches us that we don't have to be a television star or a lawyer or a doctor making a lot of money in order to start investing and making more money?
No, the beauty of the cash flow game, it teaches people that regardless of your profession, and even if you don't make much money, I mean, you could be working as a janitor and still beat the doctor in the world of investing. So with little money, you could beat somebody who makes a lot of money simply because this is what wins. It's brain power, it's financial education that wins, not what you learned in school.
So it's actually easier if you're not making a lot of money, if your rat race is not so luxurious?
It's actually easier if you have a little money to win the game. But you have to play the game. As like I say, play the game 4 or 5 times. You can play it as a doctor, or you can play it as a janitor, or you can play it as a school teacher. What you'll find, it doesn't make any difference what your profession is, or whether you make a lot of money here or here. It doesn't make any difference. What makes a difference is how smart you are here. Because one of the biggest mistakes that people make is say it takes money to make money. That's really not true. The number one thing it takes to make money is vocabulary, words. Because words, like income and salaries and interest, those are financial words. The problem with most people is we go to school and we don't learn any kind of financial words. We don't know the difference between return on investment and internal rates of return, or cash flow versus PEs. And it's vocabulary that actually makes you rich. So the more you improve your vocabulary, the words in your brain, the more money you have in your hand. So I'll say it again, is if you have money in your head, you'll have money in your hand. If you have no money in your head, nothing in your hands.
Y finalmente, para cerrar, quiero preguntarle a Robert acerca de qué le diría a la gente que piensa que iniciar un negocio, ser dueño de un negocio o invertir profesionalmente es arriesgado y que no quiere dejar de ser empleado o ser autoempleado simplemente por el riesgo que nos dicen que hay al cruzar al otro lado del cuadrante. I would like to wrap up this conversation by asking you, what would you say to people that think that investing or owning a business is risky as opposed to stay safe on the other side of the quadrant?
Well, anything is risky if you don't have enough education. For instance, driving a car is risky if you haven't gone to driver's school. So that's the reason, again, I go back to this here, is the Cone of Learning back in 1969 said, you've really got to play the game just before you do the real thing. It's really risky if this is all you have is reading and lecture. That's why a lot of times people who do well in school don't do well in the real world of investing, and they stay over here, E's and S's, working for the big company or working hard by themselves. So it is risky without much education, but by playing this game, you might have a better chance of success. I cannot guarantee it, but you have a better chance of success if you understand this and you understand this. For example, let's say one last thing. When I talk to my banker has never yet asked me for my report card. My banker has never asked me if I had good grades. My banker has never asked me what school I went to. If I'm playing the game over here on this side, my banker wants to see my financial statement, because my financial statement as an adult measures my financial IQ. If I am doing really smart over here, my banker will give me as much money as I want. If I'm doing really stupid over here or not very well, all my banker will give me is a credit card. So, the reason you want to do well here is because your banker will give you a lot of money. I can leave you one last story, is that when I was in Sunday school, they told me a story of the rich man who had 3 sons, and he gave one son a lot of money, so many talents. He gave the second son so much money, and he gave the third son so much money. And a few days later, the first son came back, and he had wasted all his money. He had nothing left, and the rich man got upset. The second person came and just buried the money, and he got very upset. And the third son took the money, and he multiplied the money. And when he multiplied the money, the rich man took all the money from the other sons, as well as all of his money, and the rich man gave the money to the son who multiplied the money. And the same thing goes on in the real world. This here is your report card. When a banker sees that you can take money and multiply it, the banker will give you all the money you want. If you're a poor person and just waste it,